Hi student, my name is Manoj Kumar. I'm student of Holmes College, Sydney. I'm studying there Master of Business Administration and Professional Accounting. Today I have created an individual assignment which I have made some content, and this is assignment based on issues in cash flow statement as is shown in my presentation file. So today I'm describe some content as, um, as part A. As part A is on existing literature, part B is on major source of cash for each firm, as well as their subheadings of part B is compare and contrast the cash flow from operations. Next is to pay for all of its capital expenditures, dividend payment made by the firm, how did the firm invest the excess cash, and current asset and current liability, and trend in capital expenditure for each firm, financial strength of each of the three companies, evaluate these three companies for leading purpose for lending. And next is references, where I taken all the information. Next I'm going to talk about on part A is depend on based on existing literature, which is the incremental value relevance of cash flow and earnings affected by their extremity. And next is this literature provides the brief in how cash flow is portrayed and how it is operated in earning incremental value and cash flow. The four parameters for understanding the incremental value in literature represents the how effective can be cash flow for business in modern period. The methodology which is used in the literature is quantitative research methodology, and findings in the literature is that moderate and extreme writing have incremental value for relevance for both moderate and extreme cash flow. Next is part B. It's based on major source of cash for each firm. In this heading, I have added some subheadings as BHP. It stands for the major source of cash flow for them, and its operations consists of the cash from customer financing and investing from company dividends. And next is Santos Limited. This stands for receipts of cash from customers. And Fantastic Limited is in Fantastic Limited, in which included operations and receipts of sales and other small investments from investors. The next subheading was compare and contrast the cash flow from operations, which describe many things as operating cash flow for BHP is very negligible and has provided zero gain for the operating cash flow. Cash flow for investing from investors has decreased from 2017 to minus 3,724 to 5,060, drop in year 2018. Increased with the changes in net cash flow and actual cash flow. Next is to pay for all of its capital expenditures, which means BHP and Santos Limited firm had failed to generate enough cash flow from operations. And Fantastic Limited repayment for investors. Small amount of positive cash flow was seen in capital expenditures for Fantastic Limited. My next slide is on dividend payment made by the firm, which means no major cash flow from operations cover the dividend payment made by all firms. A negligible positive effect was seen in the Fantastic Limited due to increasing factors of investment from investors. And next slide is on how did the firm invest the excess cash, which means firm investment has exceeded in the all three companies. The changes in in the development has also caused with the incremental value and how management is increasing access capital to give back to investors. And my next slide is on current asset and current liability, which means yes, BHP has is using working capital with the current assets and current liability. Next, the changes and the source of cash flow from investors investment has used with the changes with the cash from cash flow statement. Next is slide is on trend in capital expenditure for each firm. In this, I included three lines as for BHP the capital expenditure is mainly for supply chain, oil and gas. Next, for Santos Limited, the for packing of products and its distribution. Fantastic Limited has major capital expenditure for supply chain management. Financial strength of each of three companies is which describe the financial strength. BHP is the productivity gain for portfolio. The shareholder for long term and focus on finding oil for the resources in the investment. And Santos Limited, the major source for the financial strength is on customer invoices and small investors. Fantastic Limited, the major financial strength is its production unit which has value for leading loans. My next slide is on evaluate these three companies for leading purpose. For leading, maybe it's last one. The best for leading is the BHP because of the finding new oil and copper deposits through targeted exploration and amount of revenue and getting back money. The assets such as open cut mine, onshore, offshore and total share return can be made with increasing result and dividends. Recognition of ordinary share value and preference share value is good for BHP Limited and helps in developing the loans recovery for lending amounts. My next slide is on references which I taken all the information from some from the website, some books, some magazine. My lecture has finished. Thank you.